Back on a toy teardown. In this episode we're pulling apart this Hot Wheels Energy RC car. It comes in a can. Let's see what makes it tick. Okay, let's have a look at this little car. These cars come on these cans. Usually there's a twist top lid, but I can't find ours for love of money. And on the list down the side here is of the cars, the other cars you can get. I hope that you can get all these run different sort of signals, because for some reason people who make these toys think families only have one child and they only want one toy. But when you've got a toy like this, there's a distinct possibility there's going to be more than one child in the family, and it'll be cool to be able to run two cars at the same time. So we've only got one. They're $35, so they're not cheap, but I'm hoping that should we get another one, it'll run on a different signal and the boys can race against each other. On the bottom of the car and of the remote there's an A, so I'm thinking that possibly could relate to, obviously, for matching in the signals, and so maybe there's some markings on the new container which has a different number or a different letter, so you can decide, well, I've got the same car, if I get a B or a C or a D, I might be able to run two cars at the same time. Next thing about these cars is their remote control. They're not radio controlled, so you can see on the front there's a infrared sensor, the same thing you get on your TV remote, and on the back in there is the receiver. Problem being is the range is only pretty much line of sight, and if you've got this all the way down the other end of the house and it's facing you, it doesn't get any signal, so it stops working, so you've got to walk closer to it. And I've seen a bit of that on the internet, how people have complained how the signals, even this close, sometimes don't get through depending on which car you've got. So we'll flicker on. Actually, it's already on, so that's good. So left and right, forward and back. It's not the fastest car in the world. It's alright. I guess it's made for youngsters, so maybe speed isn't too much of an issue, but it goes pretty good on carpet as well, and hard floors. I haven't tried it on the gravel, but we've got a wooden deck here, it goes okay on that as well, so it goes surprisingly well on different surfaces. Drive over cables and all sorts of things. Okay, so we'll start pointing down the car. First thing I see about the car is the people who designed it did an awesome job. This is a real neat looking car. It could almost just be a model. It's just it's sort of a bit of a retro, sort of cartoonish type of shape, but I really like it. We've only got just 3 screws to get it apart, the battery container, but we can leave that on for now, being the batteries just 2 AAAs, so possibly why it's not the fastest car in the world. And it's just got a trimmer at the top, what you have in all these sort of El Cheapo RC cars for trying to get it to drive straight. I like, you would have seen in my other video with a budget RC car, this is this digital, there's no sort of proportional steering or acceleration. So we'll get it apart. So there's our little LED which runs, or should run, when we turn the motor on. Yep. And the infrared receiver sensor, chip on board, or circuit on board. So as you would have found with the microboat episode, there's no point trying to do anything with that. You can grind the top off, but you're not going to learn anything. It has got a chip here, and I have checked out to see what this is, and it doesn't come up with anything. The code on it doesn't make any sense. It's either coming up as a bridge rectifier, which it certainly isn't, or a 4-bit register, which it isn't either. So I'm guessing it's probably just a driver chip. On the budget RC car I had a whole lot of transistors. This one is probably just a chip for lifting those heavy loads, for driving the current, because the pins on the other side either drive the steering or drive the motor. All the other signals go straight into this chip on board. In the front, it's actually on the budget RC car had a motor which drove either direction whenever it wanted to steer. This one's got a electromagnet. So these two wires go down to a coil, and there's some magnets in here which are incredibly strong for their size. So you see there's a coil, and the voltage goes through the coil, and it either pulls it that way or pulls it that way, depending on which way you want to steer it. And here are these magnets, and it's just crazy how strong they are. Let's see if I can pop them out. Nope. I don't want to wreck this car, but no, they're stuck in there, but it's crazy how strong they are. So we'll just test this little circuit for the electromagnet. Be careful, these wires are very fine. My trusty Dick Smith multimeter, I got it before they started selling chopping boards and cheese slices. Now DC bolts there. So 2.3 volts one way, and the other way will be minus 2.3 volts. So typical electromagnet, depending on which way the current flows, is which way it's going to pull towards. So it's a pretty nifty method for trying to cram something into a really small car. I'll just pop this back together, and then we'll have a look down the back end. And down the back, from this driver chip, it just pumps into the motor. It's a pretty big motor, considering the size of the car. So I don't think this car could probably go a hell of a lot faster had a bigger power supply. Unfortunately, due to the size, they've only crammed in those two AAA batteries. I've had a crack at this gearbox, as you can tell by the damaged foam, and there's nothing much in there. It's just a reduction gearbox, so you can't obviously direct drive the wheels, wouldn't have the torque, so it's got a couple of gears there just to crank it down and get a bit more torque. So what I was thinking of, this would actually be a good project car, because there's actually quite a bit of room. So we could remove all the guts and put in a microcontroller or something else, or even a LiPo battery underneath, just to get a bit more herbs, and also fix a problem with a really poor range. So it's only sort of 10 meters if you're lucky before you lose contact with it, and it's a bit slow. So perhaps in a later episode we'll look at hooking this up wirelessly with a bigger battery to get a bit more grunt. So I'll pop it back together and we'll just have a look at the remote. Okay, so for the remote, pretty basic, forward and backwards, left and right. It's got a light here, so when it's in the container, for some reason, I'm not sure if you can see that, no, there you go. It lights up the whole front of the container. Not sure why it does that. There's probably a really good reason. And it's as I mentioned before, the transmitter. If anybody else out there at Internet Land has one of these cars, I'd be interested to see whether your one has got the same letter, or if it's got a different car, what letter that is, and the significance it has. I've sort of looked up these on the internet, and there's very little information really I've found. In fact, there's nothing on the Hot Wheels site, but there is on the Toy States site. So nothing much in here either, it's just buttons, chip on board, can't do anything with it, the transistor there to drive the infrared. No secrets there at all. It's just a little button for the switch down the end. And that's pretty much the guts of it, so don't need the wheels part out. There's nothing to see. We'll pop it back together. There we go, she's back together. One thing I will give this credit for is it's pretty torquey. That's it for this episode, short and sweet. Give us a thumbs up or subscribe. Catch you next time.